What if I told you the worst is over? That the storm you've weathered, the crisis that has felt endless, is finally behind you. You may still feel the echoes of the past, but the darkest part is done. The very fact that you found this video means you've crossed a threshold. What once felt like an insurmountable challenge is now behind you. There's a quiet peace settling in, a sense that the chaos has finally given way to calm. Though the path forward may still be uncertain, the hardest part is behind you. You've made it through. How do you know when the worst is truly over? How do you recognize the moment when you've survived the deepest part of your transformation, even if you can't yet see the full picture? Sometimes the change is subtle, so quiet that we don't notice how far we've come until we take a moment to reflect. In this video, we'll explore how Carl Jung viewed the painful yet necessary process of crisis and how it leads to rebirth. We'll discuss how crises are not only inevitable, but transformative, and how, if you're here today, the hardest part has already passed. It's time to embrace the transformation ahead. According to Jung, life is a series of transformations, and transformation often begins with a crisis. He famously said, "There is no coming to consciousness without pain." A crisis is not a sign of failure, but rather a necessary breakdown that allows the psyche to reorganize. When life falls apart, it is the universe's way of pushing us into a deeper alignment with our true self. This pain, this moment of destruction, is not punishment, it's the preparation for renewal. Jung believed that without crisis, we would never fully grow. We would remain trapped in old patterns, clinging to outdated versions of ourselves. It is through crisis that the soul finds its true path, much like the forest fire that makes way for new growth. For Jung, suffering was not a problem to be solved, but a stage in the process of awakening. Our ego resists, and the unconscious mind works tirelessly to bring us closer to our true path. We cannot skip this part of the journey. It is through this suffering that we are invited to confront what no longer serves us, ultimately allowing space for our true essence to emerge. So, if you're here today, it means you've passed through the hardest part. The worst is over, and now you can embrace the next phase, the rebirth that follows crisis. Crisis is not just an event, but a call for transformation. It feels like everything is falling apart, yet there is a strange sense that it is all part of a larger plan. When life shakes us to our core, it is an invitation to realign with something deeper, our truest self. Crisis is the universe's way of getting our attention, forcing us to confront the aspects of our lives that no longer serve us. It may seem like everything we've known is slipping away, but it is in these moments of rupture that we are given the chance to rebuild, to become more than we were. We are being forged anew, like gold purified in fire. For Jung, crisis is not something to fear, but to embrace. It is through crisis that the soul is stretched, expanded, and prepared for something greater. Jung said, "The wound is the place where the light enters you." This wound, this moment of personal crisis, becomes the entryway for growth. We emerge from it stronger, wiser, and more connected to our authentic selves. It is not a time of weakness, but of emergence, where the darkness reveals the light within. When we experience crisis, our identity is often shattered, leaving us to rebuild from the ground up. Jung believed that this process is essential for growth, like a seed that must be broken open in order to sprout. In those darkest moments, we are made ready for a new phase of life, one that aligns more closely with who we are meant to be. These periods of disintegration are not the end. They are the gateway to a more authentic version of ourselves. We must let go of what no longer serves us to make space for the transformation that is waiting to take root. It is through this breakdown that we discover our most resilient, true self, untethered from old identities that no longer fit. The crisis you've been through has prepared you for a powerful awakening. Have you been through such a crisis? Can you see how, in retrospect, this destruction was actually the beginning of something new? Trust that you are on the other side of it now, ready for the transformation to take root. The worst has passed, and you are emerging from the darkness into the light of your own true potential. Your soul is now free to grow, evolve, and become everything it was meant to be. From the ashes of destruction, rebirth rises. The worst is over when you realize that you have emerged from the darkness, not unscathed, but renewed. The chaos, the pain, and the uncertainty were the fire that forged you into a stronger version of yourself. You are no longer the person you once were. You have been transformed. This is the moment when the old self fades, and a new, more powerful version of you begins to take shape. Jung spoke about the importance of transformation through destruction. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. When we embrace the rebirth that follows a crisis, we shed old layers of self-deception and false identities. What has been torn down is only the false version of ourselves, and what remains is the real us, stronger and more attuned to our soul's purpose. Rebirth doesn't mean returning to what was. It means emerging into something new. The phoenix rises from the ashes, and so do we. Rebirth requires us to step forward, even if we do not yet fully understand who we are becoming. It is a leap of faith, but one that is necessary for soul growth. This process can feel uncertain, and at times we may feel lost, not knowing what our new self looks like or where it will take us. But that uncertainty is part of the journey, the space where the old and the new meet, where we redefine who we are. Embracing the rebirth is an act of courage. It asks us to let go of old identities, to free ourselves from the grip of the past, and to step into the unknown with trust. It is through this leap that we begin to align more deeply with our true essence. Trust that this moment of rebirth is not only the end of what was, but also the beginning of something far more powerful. It is the start of your new life, one that is shaped by the lessons you have learned and the strength you have gained. Are you ready to embrace the new version of yourself? What old identities, habits, and fears are you shedding in this process of rebirth? Trust that you are being shaped by forces beyond your conscious control, leading you to your most authentic self. After a storm, the air feels clearer. It's as if the chaos has settled, and in its wake, you're left with an undeniable clarity. This clarity comes from acceptance, not of what you wish had happened, but of what is. The worst is over when you've learned to accept the moment just as it is. Acceptance is not about resigning to fate, but embracing the reality of the present, unclouded by the turbulence of the past. It is a quiet surrender to what is, without the need to control or change it. For Jung, true power comes not from controlling life, but from accepting it. What you resist persists, he famously said. When we stop fighting against the challenges and pain we've experienced, we allow the process of healing and transformation to unfold naturally. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up. It means aligning with the flow of life and trusting that the universe is guiding us to exactly where we need to be. By accepting, we stop running from our shadows, from the discomfort, and from the chaos. Instead, we move through it. Acceptance is not about passively letting life happen to us, but rather actively choosing to embrace whatever comes. This allows us to transform our suffering into wisdom. Acceptance is the art of surrendering to the current moment. It is a form of inner peace that comes from recognizing that we cannot control every outcome, but we can control how we respond. It is through this acceptance that we begin to find our strength, quiet, steady, and rooted in our true self. We learn to see the gift in every hardship, the lesson in every struggle, and the growth that comes with each challenge. The worst is over when we stop resisting and start embracing the journey. Acceptance invites us to step out of our own way and trust the unfolding of life. This doesn't mean everything will be perfect or that the pain will disappear, but it does mean that we are no longer shackled by our past or our fears. We stand ready to move forward with a deep sense of peace and understanding. Have you reached the point where you can accept your journey with all its ups and downs? Acceptance is not passive. It is the active embrace of the present moment, knowing that the worst is behind you and the transformation is underway. Now that you've passed through the storm, the horizon is beginning to shift. The worst is over when you realize that you are no longer the person you were before. The trials, the suffering, and the darkness have sculpted you into something new. You are not the same, and that is the gift. The person who entered the storm was fragmented, searching, perhaps even broken, but the person emerging is stronger, wiser, and more aligned with the truth of who they are. You've walked through the fire, and in doing so, you have been transformed. Jung believed that transformation often leads to a new sense of purpose. When the worst is over, we are no longer bound by the limitations of our past self. The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are, Jung said. This is the moment when we step into our true potential, guided by the wisdom we have gained from our struggles. Every trial, every moment of suffering has prepared you for this. As the layers of your old self fall away, you are left with a renewed sense of clarity and direction. You are no longer defined by the pain you've endured, but by the strength that has risen from it. A new beginning is not a clean slate. It's a new chapter in the story of our soul. It's not about erasing what has happened, but about integrating it, using it as fuel to propel us forward. The lessons learned in the darkness are now guiding your path, giving you the courage to step into your next phase. In the process of transformation, the pieces of the past fit together in ways we could never have predicted. What once seemed like random events, painful losses, and broken dreams now form a cohesive picture of who you are meant to become. Every experience, no matter how painful, becomes a brushstroke in the masterpiece of your life. This is the moment of renewal, the moment when the phoenix rises from the ashes. Are you ready to embrace the new beginning? To step into the life that has been waiting for you on the other side of the storm? Trust that the universe is guiding you toward your next great adventure. The worst is over. You've passed through crisis and emerged stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your true self. The chaos you endured has now settled, and in its place, clarity and purpose are beginning to emerge. Trust that this transformation is not the end, but the beginning of something powerful and lasting. The pain you've experienced has cleared the path for a new sense of direction, one that is driven not by fear or confusion, but by a deeper understanding of who you are and what you are meant to become. Now is the time to fully embrace the lessons learned in the fire of crisis. The worst is behind you. Now it's time to step forward. Every moment of struggle, every moment of doubt has prepared you for this next phase. You are exactly where you need to be. This is your moment of integration, where all the fragmented pieces of the journey come together into a powerful, cohesive whole. Trust yourself, trust the process, and know that you are stepping into the fullness of your potential. The storm has passed, but its gifts are now yours to carry. You have weathered the darkest part of the journey, and what lies ahead is the unfolding of your most authentic self. The worst is over, but the transformation has just begun. You stand at the threshold of a new chapter, one built on the lessons of the past, the wisdom gained from surviving the storm. This is your moment to reclaim your power, to move forward with confidence, knowing that you are no longer bound by your former self. As you continue on your path, remember that the universe only sends these moments to those ready to embrace their true selves. This journey of transformation is ongoing, and though you may not yet see the full picture, know that every step you take from here will lead you closer to the life you were always meant to live. Trust the process. Step forward with courage, knowing that the path you're on is leading you to something greater. The universe has prepared you for this. This is Echoes of Psyche, where we explore the depth of the unconscious and the mysteries of awakening. Until next time, trust the threshold you are standing upon.